Welcome to Earthenkind Quests. My name is Mike. In this episode of Nemesis Battles, a Glamor bard and a Moon bard fight against each other. The two bards are at level 8, using the rules in the 2024 Player's Handbook of Dungeons & Dragons. The subclass of the Moon bard is presented in the 2025 book of Heroes of Faerun. The Glamor bard is part of an invasion force attempting to seize control of a seaport town. The Moon bard is among the few defenders of this place. During the encounter, I will clarify what happens with the game mechanics and the story narrative while demonstrating in the 3D world builder and virtual tabletop system of RPG stories. For extra details about the two bard characters, in the video text description, you can find the web links for the level 8 character sheets in D&D Beyond. The ASMR College of Glamor bard is named Max Glimmerhands. In most cases, he relies on his charm and related features to command and control other people. The ASMR College of the Moon bard is named Mona Moonchanter. She can draw on powers of the moon to cast the spell Moonbeam and to create other moon-themed effects. Leading up to this point, the seaport town was destroyed by a rampaging worm of doom. While the town was in this vulnerable condition, an invasion force arrived to seize control. The few surviving townspeople are gathered at a makeshift shelter near a temple building that withstood the attack by the Worm of Doom. Now the survivors move inside the temple building, while a local hero stands guard outside. She is the College of the Moon bard, Mona Moonchanter. Among the invading group, the College of Glamor bard, Max Glimmerhands, intends to use his charming effects to control anyone standing in the way. Separate video episodes show other aspects of this larger conflict. So far, one part involved a Beastmaster Ranger versus a Fey Wanderer Ranger. The current episode is about the Bard versus Bard battle. The College of the Moon bard, Mona Moonchanter, could be the only person who could defend effectively against the Glamor bard. The two bards meet. They prepare for a duel against each other. The bulk of the invading group continues to march farther inland with the siege equipment, aiming to acquire the remnant ruins of the royal palace. At the scene of the bard battle, the two bards roll for initiative. The Glamor bard rolls 19. The Moon bard rolls 9. The Glamor bard will act first, followed by the Moon bard. In round 1, the College of Glamor bard, Max Glimmerhands, catches a glimpse of his reflection in a broken piece of glass. For a moment he is distracted and enamored with himself. Soon enough, though, he attends to the current duel with his opponent. As his action, Max Glimmerhands casts the spell Mirror Image, using a second-level spell slot. The Glamor bard produces 3 illusory duplicates of himself, occupying the same space that he occupies. During the next 1 minute, without requiring concentration, the illusory duplicates could become the targets of incoming attacks aimed at the Glamor bard. Whenever an attack roll would hit, then Max Glimmerhands rolls 1d6 for each of the illusory duplicates currently in his space. If any die 6 roll is 3 or higher, then the incoming attack hits a duplicate instead of the real target. The duplicate then is destroyed. Max Glimmerhands adorns himself with sparkly glitter. He activates his Beguiling Magic feature, in this case triggered by using a spell slot to cast an illusion spell of Mirror Image. This feature of the Beguiling Magic could work immediately after using any spell slot for any enchantment or illusion spell. Max Glimmerhands can attempt to charm or frighten one creature that he can see within a range of 60 feet. He attempts to charm his opponent. The Moon bard, Mona Moonchanter, rolls a wisdom saving throw to try to resist the charm effect. She rolls 9, and she begins to let down her guard and to consider if perhaps this other bard is not really an enemy after all. In this moment, Mona Moonchanter recognizes the magical charm effect. She uses her reaction with her counter-charm ability as a bard. She can re-roll the wisdom saving throw, now with advantage. With this bolstering effect, the counter-charm result is 17. Mona Moonchanter belts out a series of notes with her strident voice, fending off the charm effect. The Glamor bard, Max Glimmerhands, recognizes that his opponent is using her singing voice to produce many of the same powers and tricks that he knows as a bard. Max Glimmerhands commands the sparkly glitter around himself to form into a stronger and persistent glow. With his bonus action, the Glamor Bard starts his Mantle of Majesty. For up to 1 minute, Max Glimmerhands can use his concentration to maintain this feature. During this time, he can use a bonus action to cast the spell Command without using a spell slot. He can issue a command right now as part of this current bonus action with the Mantle of Majesty, as well as again during his next turns, as long as he can maintain his concentration. Furthermore, anyone who already is charmed by the Glamor Bard automatically would fail the saving throw and would need to obey the command. Max Glimmerhands commands his opponent to approach. If Mona Moonchanter will fail the wisdom saving throw, then she will need to use her next turn to obey the command to approach and to do nothing else. Luckily for Mona Moonchanter, she is not already charmed by the Glamor Bard, or else she automatically would fail this saving throw. She rolls the wisdom saving throw. A result of 20 succeeds. The Moon Bard focuses her mental powers and shields herself from the Glamor Bard's magical influence. The College of the Moon Bard, Mona Moonchanter uses her voice to produce a cascade of shimmering notes. As her action, she casts the spell Moonbeam using a second-level spell slot. Mona Moonchanter calls down a slice of moonlight, filling a column in a cylinder shape 60 feet high and with a radius of 5 feet. A lunar glow surrounds the Glamor Bard. At first, Max Glimmerhands admires the pleasant glow, but then quickly he feels the intensity of the moonbeam generating radiant damage. The moonbeam effectively bypasses the Glamor Bard's protection with the mirror image spell. The moonbeam does not require an attack roll. Instead, it produces an area of effect. Max Glimmerhands rolls a Constitution saving throw to try to avoid half of the incoming radiant damage. A result of 20 succeeds. The Glamor Bard suffered only half of the 12 radiant damage, reduced down to 6. Max Glimmerhands happens to be an ASMR, so he innately is resistant to radiant damage, reducing the moonbeam damage again down by half to only 3 radiant damage. The damage could have been much greater if Mona Moonchanter had upcast the spell with a higher level spell slot. Additional damage still could be possible during the next rounds of the combat. After sustaining the damage of the Moonbeam, the Glamor Bard needs to roll a Constitution saving throw for maintaining his concentration on his Mantle of Majesty feature. He rolls with advantage due to his Warcaster feat. A result of 15 succeeds. Max Glimmerhands continues to concentrate on his Mantle of Majesty. At this time, the Glamor Bard retains 48 of his total 51 hit points. During the next 1 minute, Mona Moonchanter can use her concentration to maintain her Moonbeam spell. While concentrating during each of her next turns, the Moon Bard can use her action to move the Moonbeam up to 60 feet. Whenever the Moonbeam moves into the space of a creature, or whenever a creature enters into the Moonbeam, then this creature is exposed to the radiant damage with the same routine of rolling a Constitution saving throw for half of the damage. The Moonbeam can be most productive against groups of enemies in a battlefield. Right now, it appears to be minimally effective against the single opponent of the Glamor Bard who happens to be resistant to the radiant damage. The damage output is minimal so far, but it could persist and accumulate during the next rounds of the combat. The Moon Bard, Mona Moonchanter, usually does not engage in this kind of 1-versus-1 combat. Many of her magical powers involve working with allies. For instance, one primary feature of any Moon Bard is the Inspired Eclipse that requires a bonus action to give bardic inspiration to another creature. During the next 1 hour, the creature receiving the bardic inspiration can fail a d20 test and then use a reaction to expend the bardic inspiration, adding 1d8 to the d20 result, potentially transforming the failed result instead into a success. Mona Moonchanter cannot inspire herself. She does not want to grant the bardic inspiration to her enemy. Mona Moonchanter looks rapidly around herself, hoping to see a creature that could receive her bardic inspiration. Previously, chickens and other animals were in the vicinity, but now they have moved away to hide from the calamities of the battlefield. With her passive perception of 14, Mona Moonchanter sees a cat moving away into a hiding place. With her bonus action, she inspires the cat with her song. I interpret that the cat immediately expends the inspiration while it hides. The Moon Bard is successful with using the bardic inspiration for this one instance, but she will not be able to find another such opportunity during her next turns. As part of this bonus action with the Bardic Inspiration, the Moon Bard can use her Inspired Eclipse feature, at least for this one time. She becomes invisible, and she can teleport up to 30 feet into an unoccupied space that she can see. The invisibility will end at the start of her next turn, or if she will make an attack roll, cast a spell, or cause damage. After teleporting in this way, Mona Moonchanter deliberately stays in her new location. She does not move or do anything that could give away her position. She already used her action to cast the Moonbeam spell, so she cannot use her action again to try to hide with a stealth skill check. For now, Mona Moonchanter remains motionless, and nothing obvious is revealing her position. In round 2, the College of Glamor Bard Max Glimmerhands steps away from the Moonbeam. Max Glimmerhands cannot see his invisible opponent. In this case, the Glamor Bard cannot use his most powerful feature of his Mantle of Majesty to cast the command spell as a bonus action and without using a spell slot. The command spell requires to see a creature within 60 feet, but the Moon Bard right now is invisible. Max Glimmerhands could use his action to attempt to search with a perception skill check, searching for signs of wherever the Moon Bard might be located. Otherwise, he could try to cast a spell with an area of effect and hope that it can overlap with wherever his opponent is positioned. These options would be more productive if the Glamor Bard could work with allies. They probably are not worthwhile in this current 1-versus-1 combat. Max Glimmerhands could prepare with a ready action to cast a spell or to perform any other action triggered by whenever he will notice the location of his opponent. This option would require the Glamor Bard's concentration, and therefore he would need to stop concentrating on his Mantle of Majesty feature. The Mantle of Majesty is a powerful feature that is available only once per long rest. Max Glimmerhands could reactivate it during one of his next turns, but the cost will be high, demanding a spell slot of 3rd level or higher. Despite the cost and the risk involved, Max Glimmerhands prepares a ready action to cast the spell Shatter, upcasting with a 4th level spell slot. At any moment between now and the start of the Glamor Bard's next turn, if the Glamor Bard will notice the general vicinity of his opponent, then he can use his reaction to complete his ready action. This option requires concentration, so the Mantle of Majesty now dissipates and it fades away. Regardless of whether or not the triggering event will occur, the Glamor Bard spends the 4th level spell slot of the prepared action of upcasting the Shatter spell. The College of the Moon Bard, Mona Moonchanter starts her turn and her invisibility ends. Immediately, the Moon Bard's appearance prompts the ready action with the Glamor Bard's Shatter spell. Mona Moonchanter is within the range of 60 feet of the Shatter spell. The Glamor Bard uses his reaction to complete the prepared ready action. The Shatter spell fills a 10-foot radius sphere with thunderous energy. All creatures within here are affected, but the Moon Bard is the only person in here right now. She rolls a Constitution saving throw to try to resist half of the thunder damage. She rolls 10, indicating a failure. With the 4th level upcasting, the Shatter spell generates 21 points of thunder damage. After sustaining the thunder damage, the Moon Bard needs to roll a Constitution saving throw to concentrate on her Moonbeam spell. She rolls with advantage with her Warcaster feat. A result of 19 succeeds. The Moonbeam persists. At this time, the Moon Bard retains 38 of her total 59 hit points. The Moon Bard could use her action to move her Moonbeam up to 60 feet to affect any creature in its path, in this case affecting the Glamor Bard as the only enemy here. Instead, though, Mona Moonchanter uses her action to cast the spell Command with a 1st level spell slot. She commands the Glamor Bard to flee. Ordinarily, Mona Moonchanter would prefer to use the command spell to make her opponent flee or approach in a direction that would interact with the position of the Moonbeam. The current situation makes this option probably not very effective right now. Mona Moonchanter's primary goal is to stop or at least to delay the Glamor Bard from advancing with the invasion force and the siege equipment. Toward this goal, the command to flee could be most effective. Max Glimmerhands rolls a wisdom saving throw to try to resist the command to flee. The result is 7, indicating a failure. The Moon Bard's command penetrates into the mind of the Glamor Bard. Max Glimmerhands succumbs to the bad omen of a dark moon. During his next turn, Max Glimmerhands must use his action to obey the command to flee. He can do nothing else during his next turn. In round 3, the College of Glamor Bard Max Glimmerhands finds himself mysteriously unable to control his actions. He must obey the Moon Bard's command to flee. Max Glimmerhands is forced to move away as far as possible from the Moon Bard. He moves 30 feet away. He uses the dash action to continue moving another 30 feet. The Glamor Bard can do nothing else during this turn. At this point, the Glamor Bard Max Glimmerhands removes himself from the Bard battle. His companions with the invasion force have moved farther inland. The Bard moves to rejoin with the group that he should be leading right now, along with the Beastmaster Ranger, Buddy Ward. The Moon Bard, Mona Moonchanter, searches through her broader surroundings. She sees her one ally who has been helping to defend against the invasion force. The Fey Wanderer Ranger, Archie Snipes, managed to drive away an opposing Beastmaster Ranger. For practical purposes, a separate video episode shows the Ranger versus Ranger battle. Together, the Beastmaster and the Glamor Bard command the invading group, now established outside the inland hilltop with the remnant ruins of the royal palace. The groups of fishfolk or Kuotoa prepare the siege engines and equipment. Upon the hilltop, the ruins of the royal palace are quiet. Previously, some people were busy with emergency fortifications. Right now, though, nobody is visible here. Among the ruins of this seaport town, the College of the Moon Bard, Mona Moonchanter, and the Fey Wanderer Ranger, Archie Snipes, acknowledge that they could not stop the invading group. They only could delay the overwhelming force. Very few other people have survived here, and they are hiding inside the durable building of the town's temple. The Moon Bard and the Fey Wanderer ensure that the few survivors remain safe in here, at least for now, while they contemplate about what to do next. Unknown to anyone else, another 1-versus-1 duel is about to begin. A Shadow Monk has tracked down her arch-rival, an intelligence-based Eldritch Knight fighter. These two characters have faced each other countless times in the past. They prepare to do so once more. They bring all of their memories and experiences of their previous encounters into this one moment. Our story will continue with Nemesis Battles. For now, in the comment section, please share your ideas and suggestions about what could have happened differently and what you would like to see during other episodes. As always, thank you for watching. I will see you in the next video.